Dear students, welcome to my video lesson. In this lesson, let me discuss Dilip Chitra's very famous poem, Father Returning Home. First, let me introduce the author. Dilip Chitra lived from 1938 to 2009. He is an Indian writer, poet, critic, painter, and filmmaker. He is associated with Indian modernism and postmodernism. He has come out with a few collections. The two important collections are Traveling in a Cage, published in 1980, in which the present poem's discussion, that is, the father returning home, appeared in 1980. Then his another important collection is an anthology of Marathi poetry, which he published between 1945 and 1965. It was later published as an individual collection. He translated the poetry of Tukaram. See, on the whole, Dilip Chitra was a very famous filmmaker and writer. Dilip Chitra was recognized by Sahitya Academy Award by the Government of India in 1994. So another important work by him is As Is Where is published in 2014. The main theme of this work was Mumbai. So lives in and around Mumbai. If you take this poem, Father Returning Home, so it is a dramatic monologue made in first person narrative. The tone of the poem was very bleak. So we have lots of themes to interpret in this poem. Some of the themes of Father Returning Home are alienation in the twilight years. So especially you might have observed old people in your homes. So how they react, you can just, especially when the people crosses the age of 60. So at that time, their behavioral pattern will be something different. So at that time, the children will start showing indifference towards the parents, and they will feel alienation. Sometimes they will feel rootlessness if they happen to live in the family of their children. Then this contrast between old age in the modern society, cultural identity, generation gap, the future of the individuals in the city like Bombay. See, on the whole, this poem, Father Returning Home, includes lots of themes like this. It is a masterpiece, we have to say. As mentioned earlier, the style adopted is dramatic monologue. Just have a look at these pictures. These pictures consolidate what is discussed in this poem. You can find a man, old man, he is getting off the train. Then in the house, he is sleeping alone, bald head. And here a person is commuting, right? So many people are there. Nobody is talking to anyone. Then the old man, he just walks off the train with a walking stick in hand, a bag or books in hand. Then these are the things utilized by the old person. So a mug is there, old shoes are there, and just it gives the entire atmosphere gives a kind of old fragile, weak. So these aspects are discussed in detail in this poem, Father Returning Home. Now let's go for the line by line analysis. My father travels on the late evening train, standing among silent commuters. Commuters means travelers. In the yellow light, suburbs slide past his unseeing eyes. So the father travels the late evening train, and naturally he doesn't have seat, standing among silent commuters. All fellow travelers are silent, and in the yellow light, evening, normally yellow light in those times. Now only we have the modern lights. Suburbs slide, so it is alliteration. Sub, so. Suburbs slide past his unseeing eyes. So every day he travels in the same place. So even he is not interested in looking outside because it is a monotonous life. His shirt and pants are soggy, so wet, and his black raincoat stained with mud and his bag stuffed with books is falling apart. So, in the first stanza, so the train journey of the father of the author has been described. So, first evening time, so no commuter is talking, yellow lights are there. So, in the suburbs, so he is traveling, his eyes are not seeing, and he is wearing black raincoat, and his pants are wet due to rain, stained with mud, and his back, and he is carrying a bag that is filled with books. And here, the probably the zipper is not working properly, so the bag is not closed properly. His eyes dimmed by age. Since he is old, his eyes dimmed by age fade homeward, dimmed by age, fade homeward through the humid monsoon night. It is a rainy night. So, the imagery that we find in this poem conveys the old age as the theme. So, look at that late evening and yellow light, unseeing eyes, black raincoat, then dimmed by age. So all these things, then night. So all these words are symbolic representations of old age. So in the first stanza itself, the poet talks about his father and his train journey. Now I can see him getting off the rain like a word dropped from a long sentence. I would say in this poem, these two lines are masterpieces. See, look at that. So the poetic device utilized here is simile. So now I can see him. Him refers to the father getting off the train. The father is getting off the train like a word dropped from a long sentence. For example, you write sentences, paragraphs. At that time, if you find if a word is redundant, unnecessary in that place, what will you do? You will remove. So that means even if you remove a particular word from a sentence, that word conveys the same meaning. In that case, you will remove the particular word or phrase. Similarly, the father also has become irrelevant in the lives of other members of the family and society. So look at the lines now. Now I can see him getting off the train like a word dropped from a long sentence. As the deleted word does not have any significance in a sentence, The father is also feeling lonely, and the father is also not accepted in the family. This universal fact the issue faced by old people has been beautifully recorded by Dilip Chitre in this poem. He hurries across the length of the grey platform. So, grey platform, old platform, again, the imagery and the symbolic representation for old age. So, he gets off the train like a word, dropped word from a sentence, and he crosses the platform, crosses the railway line, enters the lane. His chappals are sticky with mud, but he hurries onward. So, he's already weak, old, and due to mud he is unable to walk on the surface, but he is moving towards home because that is the place where everyone has to go home in the evening. So in this part we happen to see how the old father has become irrelevant in their life, but in spite of that he is leading his own active life. Home again, I see him drinking weak tea, right? The tea is also weak. Eating a stale chapati, old and numb chapati, reading a book. So, what is his only companion here? He is reading a book. So, in the evening, there is no one for him to take care of. And he drinks weak tea. So, it is not hot, it was prepared already. And he eats old chapati. So he resorts himself into reading a book. He goes into the toilet to contemplate man's estrangement from a man made world. So, this is another beautiful and important line in this book. So, normally, when we go into the bathroom, we will try to come out of the bathroom as early as possible because that is not the place to spend more time or to do any recreation. But you can observe the people who are very lonely, especially old people, will spend more time in the bathroom. So that is to get rid of their loneliness. So he goes into the toilet to contemplate, think. So thinking of the past, to think man's estrangement from a man-made world. So this world is created by human beings. The society is created by human beings. But man has become estranged, right? So he has become strange. He is isolated in the world created by himself. So the poet says that the father goes into the bathroom and thinks how man has become lonely in his own world. Coming out, so the father goes to the bathroom, spends more time there, and he comes out. So he trembles. Coming out, he trembles at the sink. So sink, wash basin. The cold water running over his brown hands, a few droplets cling to the graying hairs on his wrist. So beautiful image. Image. What is an imagery? When we read something, so the mental image, so the picture of that particular thing recorded should come to your mind. So the father, when after washing the hand, you can find the brown hands, old man's hands, a few droplets. The water, see, even if you use water, some droplets will be there, no? So that has been beautifully. So the father goes into the bathroom, comes out, washes the hand, and at that time, a few droplets are there in his hands. His sullen children have often refused to share jokes and secrets with him. These two lines conveys the psychological trauma of the parents, old parents, his sullen children. So the sullen children, ignoring children, and avoiding children, sad children, bad children, anything you can attribute. His sullen children have often refused to share jokes. See, so when other members of the family speak, they speak, laugh, fight, they do all the things. But those children, they do not share the jokes and secrets with him. So at that time, the father thinks irrelevant. He will now go to sleep, right? So the day's activities over. Got down from the train, came home, drinking tea, went to the bathroom, spent more time, and came out. Now, so he realizes that the children are not sharing joke with him. He will now go to sleep. So bedtime. So what is the pastime during the sleep? Listening to the static on the radio. He starts the listening to the regular music, dreaming of his ancestors and grandchildren. But in spite of all these humiliations, he has his own dreams. The old man has his own dream. So he thinks of or dreams of his ancestors, right? His forefathers and his future grandchildren, right? Grandchildren. Thinking of nomads entering a subcontinent through a narrow pass. And here, his ancestors, Philip Chitre's ancestors, the Asians originally, they came through Himalaya Khyber Pass, Khybar, Khyber Pass. And through that they entered. So he was just thinking of that. See, nomads are people who do not have any place to live. They'll be going from here and there. So Dilip Chitre, since he is ignored now, he thinks of his ancestors who came to India through the Khyber Pass of Himalayas, and they came here, established themselves, and established families. They became the integral part of the country. But now he has become lonely in his own home. Then he thinks that what will happen to my grandchildren? So, with that futuristic thinking, with a bleak tone, so the poet ends the poem. See, on the whole, the poet Dilip Chitri talks about how his father was lonely in his twilight age in a busy city called Mumbai. So it is a wake up call for all the children, and it addresses the emotional needs of the old parents. So they do not have anyone because they took care of us when we were young. So it is the responsibility of the young people to take care of the old people, to give back what did they receive from the children. So this is the beautiful message conveyed by this poem. As mentioned earlier, this poem is filled with lot of imagery. Just imagine one example. His bag stuffed with book is falling apart. So you can imagine an old man in a train and he's carrying book. So the bag is not okay, it gives way and the books fall. So a kind of mental image comes like that. The entire poem is filled with lot of imagery. So another beautiful thing, like a word dropped from a long sentence, the insignificance of the old man has been beautifully imagined and conveyed powerfully through appropriate words. Dear students, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and the lesson learned from this particular poem is take care of your parents when they are alive. So there will be a day in which you will long for them and you will not have them with you. So take care of your parents when they are alive and when they are with you. So it is said by a writer like this: when I realized Whatever said by my father was right. My son tells me, Father, you are wrong. I repeat, when I realize whatever my father said was true, my son tells me, Father, you are wrong. So this shows the generation gap. So it takes time to realize the worth of the parents and old people. By the time we realize that, so they may not be, they may be not available in this world. So better celebrate your parents when they are alive so that our children will remember us. So that is the takeaway from this poem. Thank you. All the best. Have a nice day.